Hey, welcome back to Weeby Kids again. My name's Danny, I'm one of the founders of Weeby Kids. I'm an outdoor educator and I'm also a professional storyteller. Really pleased that you've found Weeby Kids and all of the free resources that we have on there. There's over 250 things that you can do to help improve your well-being. Today I've come to the woods because I wanted to tell you a little story about a little bird. This story is called The Little Songbird and it's written by Vern Kousky, who is an author and an illustrator living in the United States. You can also get this book. We have it at home. It's one of my favourites for a bedtime story. So this story happened on a small island in the northern oceans. And this island was surrounded by golden sands. And the sands moved up into fields, and the fields became woodlands, and the woodlands became thick forests. And in this big thick forest, there was an old oak tree. And out on the branches of an oak tree was something very, very special. And this is where our story begins. You see, out on the oak tree, there was a little nest just like this. And this nest belonged to the smallest bird that lived on the island. And that bird was the goldcrest. And on one fine morning, the mother goldcrest woke up. She hopped out of her nest and she hopped out of her onto the branches and she began to sing. And from all around her in the trees, all of her brothers and sisters sang. And back in the nest was a tiny little baby goldcrest. And it hopped out of the nest and along the branches and it followed its mother. And it stood out on the edge. And feeling all proud, it took in a deep breath. And tried again. He tried again. But no matter how hard it tried, it just couldn't sing. It said to its mother, "Why is it that all the other birds in the forest can sing, but I can't?" And its mother said, "Ah, little bird, you see, you will have a song. A special thing, a song that only you can sing. But you have to go out and find it." The little bird said, "But what do you mean I have to go out and find it? I am out." She said, "Yeah, but you have to fly far to find the special thing, the song that only you can sing." So the little bird fluffed up its feathers and started to waggle its wings. With the next puff of wind, it took to the sky and headed east. And it flew and it flew and it flew through the forest, off the island, on a short trip across the sea, until it came to a big expanse of land. And it looked up the coast and there was all land that was covered with swamps. And it looked and looked around trying to find this song, but it didn't know what it looked like. And then down in the marshy land, it spotted a bird. So it swooped down and it landed next to this bird. And this bird had long, thin legs, a long neck and a long, sharp yellow beak and beady eyes. It was the heron. And the little bird said, "Heron, I'm looking for a special thing, a song that only I can sing. Have you seen it?" And the heron thought for a moment, and it preened its feathers with its beak, and it looked up in the sky and it said, "Little bird, I haven't seen what you are looking for, this special thing, this song that only you can sing. But I think there is a very, very wise bird that lives way off into the east in the great forest, the wise owl. I'm sure that bird will be able to tell you where you will find this special thing." So the little bird thanked the heron, and it turned and it took to the skies again. And it flew for days and weeks and almost months until finally it arrived at the great forest. And when it arrived in the great forest, it flew around from tree to tree to tree, searching for the wise owl. And finally it found this big brown bird sat on the long branches of the sycamore tree. Excuse me. And the bird hopped up and it said, "Are you the wise old owl? I'm looking for a special thing, a song that only I can sing. Do you know where it is?" And the owl looked down at the little bird. It said, "Who are you? Who are you?" And the little bird was confused. It looked back and said, "No, not who am I? I know who I am. I'm asking you if you know where my special thing is, the song that only I could sing." And the owl looked down again and said, "Who are you? Who are you?" The little bird looked at it and said, "Thank you very much, but I don't think you know what I'm looking for." And it turned and it flew off. And as it went, it muttered to itself, "That mustn't have been the wise bird after all." But the little songbird knew what it was looking for, a special thing. And it flew out of the forest. And every time it stopped, it asked another bird. It spotted a sparrow and a blue tit. It even went into the town and it asked the pigeons. But every single bird that it asked just couldn't help. None of them knew where they could find this special thing. And the little bird flew and flew and flew through the spring and the summer and the autumn until finally the snow started to fall on the ground. The bird was exhausted. It was cold. Oh, how it wished that it could be back in its nest, but it had to find this special song. And on one snowy morning, it was flying along, and down on a fence post, it spotted a big black bird, a raven. And it swooped down and it looked at the raven, and its heart was beating very, very fast because this raven looked hungry. Mean. It looked up at the raven and it said, "Mean looking hungry bird, I've looked everywhere for this special thing, the song that only I can sing. Do you know where it might be?" The raven looked at the bird and looked far to the east and said, "Yes, little bird, I do know where your special thing is. If you fly far to the east until you come to the ocean and then head north, fly over the big waves and through the wild winds, and eventually you will arrive at an island, and there you will find your special thing." And the little bird was so excited at last. It knew where to find its special thing. It thanked the big raven and it took to the skies and it flew. But as it flew, the cold and bitter winter began to set in. As it flew across the ocean, the wind whipped the waves. The sea spray covered the bird, but it continued to fly through day and through night. Some days it was blown so hard by the wind that it made no progress, but it continued on and on and on. Until one morning, as the sun was rising there in the distance, it could see this island. It got a new boost of energy and it flapped its wings as fast as it could. And it got across the sea. And then it went over the sands and over the fields until it arrived in the forest. But when it looked around, the little bird realised that it was home. It was so disappointed and so upset. It had gone on this huge journey to find its special thing, its song that only it could sing. But it had arrived back home unsuccessful. How would it tell its mother? And it flew into the forest and it looked for the big oak tree. And when it got to the oak tree, it flew to the nest. But the nest was empty. So the little bird hopped along to the edge of the branch, and there it took in a deep breath, because all it could do was call its mother. It took in a deep breath and it called out. There it was. The thing that it had been looking for all this time. The special thing, the song that only it could sing. And its mother arrived and perched next to it, and its brothers and sisters came. And together they all took a deep breath. And they all sung their special thing, the song that only they could sing. So I hope you enjoyed that story. I really, really, really love that story. I'm sure it speaks to a lot of people. It speaks to me as well. That idea of going on a journey to find who we really are, and then to return home with your own special song. So, yeah, lovely, lovely story. Remember, all these stories are shared freely on Weeby Kids so that you can learn them and you can share them with your friends or with your family or with the children that you work with. So we hope you enjoyed it. Remember, there are over 60 other stories on the Weeby Kids website as well. And if you're interested in inviting me and Weeby Kids along to your setting to share some of our nature crafts and our stories, do get in touch. So thanks for stopping by at Weeby Kids, and we'll see you again sometime soon. Bye!